Hello everyone, and now we are going to start the next unit, that is structural organization in plants and animals, and it is a very interesting unit. And we have just finished unit 1 of the biology, that is the diversity in living organisms, and it was a really a great exciting journey to complete the unit 1. And now we will complete the unit 2, structural organization in plants and animals. So what are the chapters inside it? So chapter 5, morphology of flowering plants, chapter 6, anatomy of flowering plants, and chapter 7, structural organization in animals. So the description of diverse forms of life on earth was made only by observation through naked eyes, or later through magnifying lenses and microscopes. This description is mainly of gross structural features, both external and internal. In addition, observable and perceivable living phenomena were also recorded as part of this description. Before experimental biology, or more specifically physiology, was established as a part of biology, naturalists described only biology. Hence, biology remained as a natural history for a long time. The description by itself was amazing in terms of detail. While the initial reaction of a student could be boredom, one should keep in mind that the detailed description was utilized in the later day reductionist biology, where living processes drew more attention from scientists than the description of life forms and their structure. Hence, this description became meaningful and helpful in framing research questions in physiology or evolutionary biology. In the following chapters of this unit, the structural organization of plants and animals, including the structural basis of physiological or behavioral phenomena, is described. For convenience, this description of morphological and anatomical features is presented separately for plants and animals. So before starting the lesson, there is one of the there is information of one of the scientists given here. Her name is Catherine Isau. Was born in Ukraine in 1898. She studied agriculture in Russia and Germany and received her doctorate in 1931 in United States. She reported in her early publications that curly top virus spreads through a plant via the food conducting or phloem tissue. Dr. Isau's plant anatomy, published in 1954, took a dynamic, developmental approach designed to enhance one's understanding of plant structure and an enormous impact worldwide, literally bringing about a revival of the discipline. The Anatomy of Seed Plants by Catherine Isau was published in 1960. It was referred to as Webster's of Plant Biology. It is encyclopedic. In 1957, she was elected to the National Academy of Sciences, becoming the 6th woman to receive that honor. In addition to this prestigious award, she received the National Medal of Science from President George Bush in 1989. When Catherine Isau died in year 1997, Peter Raven, director of Anatomy and Morphology, Missouri Botanical Garden, remembered that she absolutely dominated the field of plant biology even at the age of 99. Oh, I guess these are scientists which are given in biology book are all century women and man. Lucky to have such a great age, and they are living for long years. So let us start the chapter 5, morphology of flowering plants. The wide range in the structure of higher plants will never fail to fascinate us. Even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure or morphology, they are all characterized by presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. In chapter 2 and 3, we talked about classification of plants based on morphological and other characteristics. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, or for that matter any living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definitions. We also need to know about the possible variations in different parts, found as adaptations of the plants to their environment, example adaptations to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you pull out any weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stems and leaves. They may be bearing Flowers and fruits. The underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground forms the shoot system. The root. In majority of the dicotyledonous plants, the direct elongation of the radicle leads to the formation of the primary root, which grows inside the soil. It bears lateral roots of several orders that are referred to as secondary, tertiary, etc. roots. The primary roots and its branches constitute the taproot system, as seen in the mustard plant. In monocotyledonous plants, the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. These roots originate from the base of stem and constitute the fibrous root system. As seen in the wheat plant, in some plants like grass, monstera and the banyan tree, roots arise from parts of the plant other than the radicle and are called adventitious roots. The main functions of the root system are absorption of water and minerals from the soil, providing a proper anchorage of the plant parts, storing reserve food material and synthesis of plant growth regulators. Regions of the root. The root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called the root cap. It protects the tender apex of the root as it makes its way through the soil. A few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled and with dense protoplasm. They provide repeatedly. The cells proximal to this region undergo rapid so I was wrong somewhere. I'll repeat the sentences again. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled and with dense protoplasm, and they divide repeatedly, and the cells proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in the length. This region is called region of elongation. The cells of elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature. Hence, this zone proximal to region of elongation is called the region of maturation. From this region, some of the epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. These root hairs absorb water and minerals from the soil. Modifications of root. Roots in some plants change their shape and structure and become modified to perform functions other than absorption and conduction of water and minerals. They are modified for support, storage of food and respiration. Tap roots of carrot, turnip and adventitious roots of sweet potato get swollen and store food. Can you give some more such examples? Have you ever wondered what those hanging structures that support the banyan tree are? These are called prop roots. Similarly, the stems of maize and sugarcane have supporting roots coming out of the lower nodes of the stem. These are called strid roots. In some plants such as rhizophora growing in swampy areas, many roots come out of the ground and grow vertically upwards. Such roots called pneumatophores help in to get oxygen for respiration. The stem. What are the features that distinguish a stem from the root? The stem is the ascending part of the axis bearing branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo of a germinating seed. The stem bears nodes and internodes. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes, while internodes are the portions between two nodes. The stem bears buds which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and dark brown. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. It conducts water, minerals and photosynthesis. Some stems perform the function of storage of food, support, protection and of vegetative propagation. Modifications of stem. The stem may not always be typically like what they are expected to be. They are modified to perform different functions. Underground stems of potato, ginger, turmeric, zamindkand, colocasia are modified to store food in them. They also act as organs of perennation to tide over conditions unfavorable for growth. Stem tendrils which develop from axillary buds are slender and spirally coiled and help plants to climb, such as in gourds, cucumber, pumpkins, watermelon and grapevines. Axillary buds of stems may also get modified into woody, straight and pointed thorns. Thorns are found in many plants such as citrus, Bougainvillea. They protect plants from browsing animals. Some plants of arid regions modify their stems into flattened opuntia or fleshy cylindrical euphorbia structures. They contain chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis. Underground stems of some plants such as grass and strawberry etc. spread to new niches, and when older parts die, new plants are formed. In plants like mint and jasmine, a slender lateral branch arises from the base of the main axis and after growing aerially for some time arc downwards to touch the ground. A lateral branch with short internodes and each node bearing a rosette of leaves and a tuft of roots is found in aquatic plants like Pistia and Ecornia. In banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum, the lateral branches originate from the basal and underground portion of the main stem, grow horizontally beneath the soil and then come out obliquely upward, giving rise to leafy shoots. The leaf. The leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. Leaves originate from shoot apical meristems and are arranged in an acropetal order. They are most important vegetative organs for photosynthesis. A typically leaf consists of three main parts: leaf base, petiole and lamina. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base and may bear two lateral small leaf-like structures called stipules. In monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called the pulvinus. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petioles allow leaf blades to flutter in wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to leaf surface. The lamina or the leaf blade is the green expanded part of the leaf with veins and ventlets. There is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as the midrib. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade and act as channels of transport for water, minerals and food materials. The shape, margin, apex, surface and extent of incision of lamina varies in different leaves. Venation. The arrangement of veins and the veinlets in the lamina of leaf is termed as venation. When the veinlets form a network, the venation is termed as reticulate. When the veins run parallel to each other within a lamina, the venation is termed as parallel. Leaves of dicotyledonous plants generally possess reticulate venation, while parallel venation is the characteristic of most monocotyledonous. Types of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised, the incisions do not touch the midrib. When the incisions of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking into a number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound. A bud is present in the axil of petiole in both simple and compound leaves, but not in the axil of leaflets of the compound leaf. The compound leaves may be of two types. In a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on a common axis, the rachis, which represents the midrib of the leaf as in neem. The palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached at a common point, that is at the tip of the petiole, as in silk cotton. Phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite and whorled. The alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard and sunflower plants. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to I'm so sorry. 2 minutes. I'll start it again. In opposite type, a pair of leaves sorry, actually I am having a common cold and rhinovirus is present in my body, so it is troubling me. Just 2 minutes. Let me take the Oh my god. Uh, okay, I can do it. Now I'm okay. Okay, I'm feeling relieved now. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in Calotropis and guava plants. If more than two leaves arise at a node and form a whorl, it is called whorled, as in Alstonia. Modification of leaves. Okay. Leaves are often modified to perform functions other than photosynthesis. They are converted into tendrils for climbing, as in peas, or into spines for defense, as in cacti. The fleshy leaves of onion and garlic store food. In some plants such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-lived. The petioles in these plants expand, become green and synthesize food. Leaves of certain insectivorous plants such as pitcher plant, Venus flytrap are also modified leaves. The inflorescence. A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes to floral meristem. Internodes do not elongate and the axis gets condensed. The apex produces different kinds of floral appendages laterally at successive nodes instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex gets developed into a flower or continues to grow, two major types of inflorescences are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of inflorescences, the main axis continues to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminates in a flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are borne in a basipetal order. The flower. The flower is the reproductive unit in angiosperms. It is meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has 4 different kinds of whorls arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel, called thalamus or receptacle. These are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoscium. Calyx and corolla are accessory organs, while androecium and gynoscium are reproductive organs. In some flowers like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are termed as perianth. When a flower has both androecium and gynoscium, it is bisexual. A flower having either only stamens or only carpels is unisexual. In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic, that is radial symmetry, or zygomorphic with bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into 2 equal radial halves in many radial plane passing through the center, it is said to be actinomorphic. Example: mustard, datura, chili. When it can be divided into 2 similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, it is called zygomorphic. Example: pea, gulmohar, bean, cassia. A flower is asymmetric, irregular, if it cannot be divided into 2 similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in canna. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous when the floral appendages are in multiple of 3, 4 or 5 respectively. Flowers with bracts, reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel, are called bracteate, and those without bracts, ebracteate. Okay. Then the next one is based on the position of calyx, corolla and androecium in respect of the ovary on thalamus, the flowers are described as hypogynous, perigynous and epigynous. In the hypogynous flower, the gynoscium occupies the highest position while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flowers is said to be superior. Example: mustard, china rose and brinjal. If gynoscium is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located in the rim of the thalamus, almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. The ovary here is said to be half interior. Example: plum, rose, peach. In epigynous flowers, the margin of thalamus grows upward, enclosing the ovary completely and getting fused with it. The other parts of flowers arise above the ovary. Hence, the ovary is said to be inferior, as in flowers of guava and cucumber, and the ray florets of sunflower. Parts of a flower. Each flower normally has 4 floral whorls with calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoscium. Calyx. The calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower and the members are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green leaf-like structures and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamasepalous, sepals united or polysepalous, sepals free. Corolla. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may also be gamapetalous, that is petals united, or polypetalous, petals free. The shape and color of corolla vary greatly in plants. Corolla may be tubular, bell-shaped, funnel-shaped or wheel-shaped. Aestivation. The mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to other members of the same whorl is known as aestivation. The main types of aestivation are velvet, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. When sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margin without overlapping, as in calotropis, it is said to be velvet. If one margin of the appendage overlaps that of the next one and so on, is as in China rose, lady's finger and cotton, it is called twisted. If the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the aestivation is called imbricate. In P and bean flowers, there are 5 petals. The largest that is standard overlaps the 2 lateral petals, that is wings, which in turn overlap 2 smallest anterior petals, that is keel. This type of aestivation is known as vexillary or papilionaceous. Okay, then androecium. Androecium is composed of stamens. Each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers. The pollen sacs, the pollen grains, are produced in pollen sacs. Okay. A sterile stamen is called staminoid. Stamens of flower may be united with other members such as petals or among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petals, they are epipetalous, or as in brinjal, or epiphyllous when attached to the perianth, as in the flowers of lily. The stamens in a flower may either remain free, like polyandrous, or may be united in varying degrees. The stamens may be united into one bunch or one bundle, monoadelphous, as in China rose, or 2 bundles, diadelphous, as in pea, or in more than 2 bundles, polyadelphous, as in citrus. There may be a variation in the length of filaments within a flower, as in salvia and mustard. Gynoscium is the female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of 1 or more carpels. A carpel consists of 3 parts, namely stigma, style and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is receptive surface for pollen grains. Each ovary bears 1 or more ovules attached to a flattened cushion-like placenta. When more than 1 carpel is present, they may be free, as in lotus and rose, and are called apocarpus. They are termed syncarpus when carpels are fused, as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovules develop into seeds and the ovary matures into a fruit. Placentation. The arrangement of ovules within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal, axile, parietal, basal, central and precentral. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary and the ovules are borne on this ridge, forming 2 rows, as in P. When the placenta is axial and the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axile, as in China rose, tomato and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary or on peripheral part. Ovary is 1-chambered, but it becomes 2-chambered due to formation of false septum. Example, mustard and argemon. When the ovules are borne on central axis and septa are absent, as in dianthus and primrose, the placentation is called free central. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of ovary and a single ovule is attached to it, as in sunflower, marigold. The fruit. The fruit is a characteristic feature of the flowering plants. It is mature or ripened ovary. Developed after fertilization, if a fruit is formed without fertilization of ovary, it is called a parthenocarpic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of a wall or pericarp and seeds. The pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into the outer epicarp, the middle mesocarp, and the inner endocarp. In a mango and coconut, the fruit is shown as a drupe. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovaries and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, a middle fleshy edible mesocarp, and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. The seed. The ovules after fertilization develop into seeds. A seed is made up of seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of radicle and embryonal axis and one, as in wheat, maize, or two cotyledons as in gram and pea. Structure of dicotyledonous seed. The outermost covering of a seed is the seed coat. The seed coat has two layers, the outer testa and the inner tegumen. The hilum is a scar on the seed coat through which the developing seeds were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserve food materials. At the two ends of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the plumulae. In some seeds such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is a food storing tissue and called endospermic seeds. In plants such as bean, gram and pea, the endosperm is not present in mature seeds and such seeds are called non-endospermous. Structure of monocotyledonous seed. Generally, monocotyledonous seeds are endospermic, but some, as in orchids, are non-endospermic. In the seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and stores food. The outer covering of endosperm separates the embryo by a proteinous layer called aleuron layer. The embryo is small and situated in a groove at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and a short axis with a plumulae and a radicle. The plumulae and radicle are enclosed in sheaths which are called coleoptile and coleorhiza respectively. So, next one is semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. The description has to be brief, in a simple and scientific language and presented in a proper sequence. The plant is described beginning with its habit, vegetative characters, roots, stem and leaves, and then floral characters, inflorescence and flower parts. After describing various parts of plant, a floral diagram and a floral formula are presented. The floral formula is represented by some symbols. In the floral formula, BR stands for bracteate, K stands for calyx, C for corolla, P for perianth, A for androecium, G for gynoscium, G dash which is in the G dash which is downside of the G, it's base of the G for superior ovary, and G dash which is upside of the G, which is called as inferior ovary, and that symbol for male, and this for female, and this for bisexual plants, and this for actinomorphic, and this for zygomorphic nature of flower. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure within bracket and addition by a line drawn above these symbols of the floral parts. A floral diagram provides information about the number of parts of a flower, their arrangement and the relation they have with one another. The position of the mother axis with respect to the flower is represented by a dot on the top of the floral diagram. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoscium are drawn in successive whorls, calyx being the outermost and the gynoscium being in the center. Floral formula also shows cohesion and addition within parts of whorls and between whorls. The floral diagram and the floral formula in figure 5.20 represents the mustard plant, which belongs to the family Brassicaceae. But I need to see this pronunciation because I am not sure with this, but I'll see. Of course I'll see it. I'll check it. Okay. Now, description of some important families. Fabaceae. This family was earlier called Papilionea. Papilionea. Okay, just let me try once again. Papilionoidae. Papilionoidae. Papilionoidae, a subfamily of family Leguminosae. It is distributed all over the world. Vegetative characters are trees, shrubs, herbs, and root with root nodules. Stem is erect or climber. Leaves are alternate, pinnately compound or simple, leaf base, pulvinate, stipulate, venation, reticulate. Okay. Then the floral characters, the inflorescence is racemose, flower is bisexual and zygomorphic, calyx which has sepals 5 and gamosepalous, and valvate or imbricate aestivation. Corolla has petals 5, polypetalous, papilionaceous. Wait, again, I'll repeat it again. Papilionaceous, consisting of posterior standard, 2 lateral wings, 2 anterior ones forming a keel, enclosing stamens and pistil, vexillary aestivation. Androecium, it has 10, and didelphus, anther, dithecus. Gynoscium, ovary, superior monocarpellary, unilocular with many ovules, style single. Fruit is legume, seed, one to many, non-endospermic. And floral formula that I need to see in the book because I cannot dictate it. I cannot read it. Okay. Economic importance. Many plants belonging to the family are sources of pulses. Gram, arhar, same, moong, soybean, edible oil, soybean, groundnut, dye, indigofera, fiber, sun hemp, fodder, sesbania, trifolium, ornamentals, lupine, sweet pea, medicine, muliathi, like that. Solanaceae. It is a large family commonly called as potato family. It is widely distributed in tropics, subtropics and even temperate zones. The vegetative characters they are plants mostly are herbs, shrubs and rarely small trees. Stem is herbaceous, rarely woody, aerial, erect, cylindrical, branched and solid. And it is hollow, hairy or glabrous. Underground stem is in potato, Solanum tuberosum. Leaves are alternate, simply, rarely, pinnately compound, exstipulate, venation, reticulate. Floral characters are inflorescence is solitary, axillary or cymose as in Solanum. Flower is bisexual, actinomorphic. Calyx has sepals 5, united, persistent, valvate aestivation. Corolla has petals 5, united, valvate aestivation. Androecium has stamens 5, epipetalous. Gynoscium is bicarpellary, obligately placed, syncarpous, ovary superior, bilocular, placenta, swollen with many ovules, exile. Fruits, berry or capsule, seeds, many, endospermous. Floral formula, I cannot read it, I need to see in the textbook. Economic importance, many plants belonging to this family are source of food, tomato, brinjal, potato, spice, for spice like chili, for medicine, belladonna, ashwagandha, fumigatory, tobacco, ornamentals, petunia. Okay, so the next is Liliaceae. Commonly called the lily family, is a characteristic representative of monocotyledonous plants. It is distributed worldwide. Vegetative characters are perennial. It is perennial herb with underground bulbs, corms and rhizomes. Leaves are mostly basal, alternate, linear, exstipulate with parallel venation. Floral characters, the inflorescence is either solitary or cymose. It is often umbellate clusters. Flower is bisexual and actinomorphic. Perianth is stepal are 6, 3 plus 3, often united into tube, valvate aestivation. Androecium, stamen 6, 3 plus 3, epitepalous. Gynoscium, tricapillary, syncarpous, ovary superior, trilocular, with many ovules, exile, placentation. Fruit, capsule, rarely berry, and the seed is endospermous. I cannot read the floral formula, I need to see in the textbook. Economic importance: many plants belonging to this family are good ornamentals like tulip and gloriosa. Source of medicine like aloe vera, and vegetables like asparagus and colchicine, colchicine like colchicum autumnal. Oh, this is so much exciting to learn new names. It's something terrible to learn new names, like I'm getting, oh, what is this? Actually, is it really bio? Okay, so flowering plants exhibit enormous variation in shape, size, structure, mode of nutrition, lifespan, habit, and habitat. They have well developed root and shoot systems. Root system is either taproot or fibrous. Generally, dicotyledonous plants have tap roots, while monocotyledonous plants have fibrous roots. The roots in some plants get modified for storage of food, mechanical support, and respiration. The shoot system is differentiated into stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. The morphological features of stems, like the presence of nodes and internodes, multicellular hair, and positively phototrophic nature, help to differentiate the stems from roots. Stems also get modified to perform diverse functions such as storage of food, vegetative propagation, and protection under different conditions. Leaf is a lateral outgrowth of stem developed exogenously at the node. These are green in the color to perform the function of photosynthesis. Leaves exhibit marked variations in their shape, size, margin, apex, and extent of incidence of leaf blade, called as lamina. Like other parts of plants, the leaves also get modified into other structures such as tendrils, spines for climbing and protection respectively. The flower is a modified shoot meant for sexual reproduction. The flowers are arranged in different types of inflorescences. They exhibit enormous variation in structure, symmetry, position of ovary in relation to other parts, arrangement of petals, sepals, ovules, etc. After fertilization, the ovary is modified into fruits and ovules into seeds. Seeds either may be monocotyledonous or dicotyledonous. They vary in shape, size, and period of viability. The floral characteristics form the basis of classification and identification of flowering plants. These can be illustrated through semi-technical descriptions of families. Hence, the flowering plant is described in a definite sequence by using scientific terms. The floral features are represented in the summarized form as floral diagrams and floral formula. So let us see the diagrams of this lesson, and this is a very big lesson, I guess, and somewhat complicated with new names, but every lesson gives us the charge to learn new things, new names, and it's really very interesting to learn everything. Okay, so let us go through the diagrams first. Okay, so yeah. So this diagram is of the, let us just minimize something, parts of the flowering plant. So you can see this flower, the fruit, the stem, leaf, and bud, internode, and node. This is the shoot system, and the root system consists of the primary root and the secondary root. Then this diagram is different types of roots. These three are the different types of roots. First is the tap root, second is the fibrous root, and third is the adventitious roots. So first is the tap root with the laterals and main root. Okay, and the fibrous roots are like it has only one part, fibrous root. So now let's see the regions of the root tip. So it has root hair. Okay, it has root cap. This is the region of maturation, this is the region of elongation, this is the region of meristematic activity. Then modification of root for support. This is a banyan tree, and it's great, and these are all the aerial roots of the banyan tree. You can see it, okay? And okay, so these are the modification of root for storage, for respiration, like pneumatophore in rhizophora. So A is like it's stored in the form of starch. Okay, these roots are in the like they perform the function of the storage, and the B1 as respiration, that are the aerial roots which are called as pneumatophores in rhizophora. Then this diagram is modification of stem, like this C, this ginger, zaminkhand, and potato. These are for the storage. The diagram B is to support. This is the axillary bud modified into tendril. It's for the support of the plant. And C1 is for protection, like this in Bougainvillea. Bougainvillea, and D1 is spread and vegetative propagation. Yes, so it's like reproduction. These roots are for modification of stem. Sorry. Modification of stem is to spread and for the vegetative propagation. Here you can see the structure of leaf. Okay, so first are the parts of leaf, like it has lamina, it has stipule, it has petiole, it has leaf base, and it has axillary bud. And B is reticulate venation, you can see here, and the C diagram is for parallel venation. A diagram here is of neem, and it has pinnately compound leaf, and this has palmately compound leaf. Okay, this has pinnately compound leaf, this has palmately compound leaf. And here you can see, just let me scroll this side. Okay, sorry, wait 2 minutes. Okay, so this is China rose, this is guava, and this is Estonia. So see, you can see, oh, wait, yes, I got it. So here you can see, this is Phyloctaceae, this is alternate Phyloctaceae, this is opposite Phyloctaceae, and this is whorled Phyloctaceae. This is alternate Phyloctaceae, this is opposite Phyloctaceae, and this is Phyloctaceae, and this is whorled Phyloctaceae. Here it is modifications of leaves. So this is for support in tendril, this is in peas, and this is for protection in cactus. That is in the form of spines, and this is for the storage, that is fleshy leaves. Okay, then this is the diagram of racemose inflorescence. Okay, and this is cymose inflorescence. Okay, and this is position of floral parts on thalamus. See, this one is hypogynous. Okay, and B and C are perigynous. See, this one is hypogynous, this B and C is perigynous, and this is epigynous. Okay, then okay, so these are the parts of flower. You can see here it is androecium, that is male reproductive organ, gynoscium, female reproductive organ, corolla, calyx, pedicel. Here you can see the calyx structure, the corolla structure, the androecium, and the gynoscium. And here you can see the types of aestivation in corolla. This one is valvate, this is twisted, this is imbricate, and this is vexillary. Okay, and this one is types of placentation. First is marginal, this is marginal placentation. Then second is axile placentation, this B1, this is marginal, this is axile. Then third is parietal placentation, and fourth is free central placentation, and this is basal placentation. Then these are the parts of fruit, so epicarp, mesocarp, seed, and endocarp. Okay, and see, it is like seed, endocarp, mesocarp, epicarp. Yes, here it is given both the examples of mango and coconut. And here the structure of dicotyledonous seeds, like this is the micropyle, this is hilum, this is seed coat, this is cotyledon, this is plumule. Plumule is a shoot system, and radicle is a root system. Plumule is a shoot system, radicle is a root system. Structure of monocotyledonous seed. So see, you can see here the endosperm and the embryo, and here you can see the endosperm, the scrutellum, coleoptile, plumule, radicle, coleorhiza, and this one is seed coat and fruit wall, alurone layer. Okay, and this diagram is floral diagram with floral formula. Okay, and this one is Pisum sativum. I guess yes, it is pea plant. And yeah, so this A1 is flowering twig, this B is a flower, C are the petals of the flower, D is the reproductive parts, and E is LS carpel, and F is floral diagram. Okay, yes, and this one is Solanum nigerum, that is McCoy plant. A1 is flowering twig, B is a flower, C is LS of flower, and D is stamens, and E is carpel, and F is floral diagram. Okay, then this is Allium cepa, that is onion plant. A is a plant, B is inflorescence, C is flower, This is inflorescence, okay, and this is flower, and this is floral diagram, okay. So finally we'll read the exercise and then we'll end the chapter. So first is, what is meant by modification of root? What type of modification of root is found in banyan tree, in turnip, and in mangrove trees? Justify the following statements on basis of external features. Like, first, underground parts of plant are not always roots, and second is flower is a modified shoot. Third, how is pinnately compound leaf different from palmately compound leaf? Fourth, explain with suitable examples the different types of phyllotaxy. Fifth, define the following terms: estivation, placentation, actinomorphic, zygomorphic, superior ovary, perigynous flower, epipetalous stamen. Now, sixth is differentiate between racemose and cymose inflorescence. B is fibrous root and adventitious root, and C is apocarpus and syncarpus ovary. Seventh is draw the label diagram of the following: first, gram seed, and second, VS of maize seed. Eighth is describe modifications of stem with suitable examples. Take one flower each of families Fabaceae and Solanaceae and write its semi-technical description. Also draw their floral diagram after studying them. 10th, describe the various types of placentations found in flowering plants. 11th, what is a flower? Describe the parts of a typical angiosperm flower. 12th, how do the various leaf modifications help plants? 13th, define the term inflorescence. Explain the basis for the different types of inflorescence in flowering plants. Write the floral formula of actinomorphic, bisexual, hypogynous flower with 5 united sepals, 5 free petals, 5 free stamens, and 2 united carpels with superior ovary and axile placentation. 15th is describe the arrangement of floral membranes in relation to their insertion on thalamus. So finally we have come to the end of the lesson, and okay, so I've completed the backlog that was left of yesterday's, and I'm happy that I'm good going with my studies, and I'm definitely going to keep consistency in my studies, and it will make me more successful, and I'll be happy at the end of my life, and I'll be satisfied. I'm satisfied with what today I've done, and I have to do more because I have to complete physics units and measurement, and then after I have to complete chemistry. So I have to complete everything. So yeah, it's very interesting, the science. The only one thing I was hoping after 10th, like during 10th, was like, wow, I'm so excited to learn only science, and I'm going to learn only science, physics, chemistry, and biology in 11th, 12th. So I'm happy to do that. So let's meet in the next video with the next lesson of unit 2. Okay, thank you.